It's really brave to sit there in your classroom, to not know where students' thinking is going to go, but to have the confidence to guide them through that inquiry.
The next generation science standards came out. Everybody was like wanting help what these new standards were going to mean, one of which is using and developing models.
Okay. What is a model?
Statistical models.
A physical model.
A model airplane or a model of a cell. A solar system diagram to the most intricate models of our global climate. Models are a tool to help us represent something about a system in a way that helps us learn something new about it.
For the last 2 years, I've been one of the public school teachers that have worked with researchers to help understand how middle school students can become agents to make their own models.
What we often see in classrooms is what we call final form science. It's knowledge that we already know. We're putting it in front of you for you to learn and memorize, maybe apply a formula to it, and then answer a question on a test, which that is just not what science is. Science is, you're wrong a lot of the time. Your ideas are really challenged.
Part of the goal of this project was really to bring some of that complexity into classrooms. We had this really implicit core trust in teachers that they can handle that complexity and nuance, and so can their students.
We could talk about the books or look at habitats that are far away, but my focus has always been on hometown ecology or local ecology.
Good job taking your data, and then you're gonna walk and cover this part of the woods this direction.
Without modeling, you can talk about an ecosystem and maybe they write a little report about Japanese knotweed, but it kind of ends there.
Oh, there's a deer tick right there.
After they make a model where they can actually collect data and dynamically change things. If something increases, why does it increase and how does that change overall? It's been exciting to watch them make those connections. What makes green crabs interesting is that they were introduced to the Gulf of Maine 250 years ago. So they've been in our ecosystem for a really long time. But over the last few decades, we've noticed their numbers really increasing and noticing populations of native species starting to decline.
Why is it exploding all of a sudden? How can we design a unit that helps our students sort of explore that question?
And we'll go over that second batch of seaweed. I'll place the transect right along there. Sound good? All right, let's go.
We call them mesocosm experiments. Oh, crab, crab, crab. Where we try to replicate the natural environment and then create a scenario where we can answer questions. Well, what if we had one green crab and 5 Asian shore crabs in the tank? What would happen then?
Oh my gosh, look at them all.
There's choices that the modeler is making in constructing and iterating on their model. Decisions about materials, what to include, what not to include, what am I measuring and how am I measuring it?
They were hypothesizing, they were asking questions. Well, what does this mean for the natural world? Like, when I was in 7th grade, we didn't do this.
Okay, the next thing that we're gonna do today is actually take a look at the data you guys collected when we were at Wolf's Neck last week. Every single crab on this data sheet, you guys found last Thursday.
Students can tell when you're having them do something that feels artificial. So you already know the answer. Why are you having us do this big, long learning sequence? And when I can really authentic be like, I don't know, I'm genuinely really curious about what you noticed, the data you collect, the patterns you identified, there's just more buy-in from everyone about the learning.
It's not perfect, but just like professional scientists are wrestling with these questions, students are actually doing work and gathering data that is relevant and contributes to helping to find some answers and maybe come up with some solutions.
The numbers that are in these ranges.
Developing an orientation towards modeling is for every student. If you show that that connection applies to what goes on in their actual community, then you have people who are invested in being citizens in their own location, as well as being able to communicate what the world is doing in a more accurate way.